You're someone who's been dazing through life, doing tasks that aren't really good enough. You don't push yourself in the gym and everything about you seems soft. You dislike feeling uncomfortable and you tend to feel really stressful when hard things arise. I'm here to tell you that all of this is unacceptable, and if you want real success, things need to change. You need to embrace pain and discomfort even if you don't want to. As a young guy, it's important that you embrace discomfort, embrace hardships, because this is what's going to build you and craft your future. For example, with me, I went through so much pain and discomfort, but it's forged me into who I am today, and I'm a much better person. One of the biggest struggles I went through was the end of one of my relationships, which happened about a year ago. I remember with me, I was in this relationship and essentially I put in too much and I lost myself. I remember I was broken up with, and then I found out that the person I was with cheated. I know it sounds horrible, but it happened because it was my way of knowing that I needed to grow and I needed to develop. What's interesting about this situation is it was so layered, and if you really tried to dig around to see what happened, you wouldn't really be able to find out about what really happened. Even I don't know. For me, I was like 16 at the time. It was the worst thing that happens to me in my entire life, like in terms of relationships. I remember for like weeks, I was literally pretty much depressed. I was so annoyed. I was just full of rage and anger, and I was just asking myself, why did I let this happen? I remember I was journaling about this one day, and I just realized that this all was necessary. All of the relationship trauma, all of everything that happened in that circumstance was necessary for me to become who I am today. If anything, if that relationship didn't happen, I would not be sat here today, and I would not be helping you improve and develop yourself. I remember after the relationship, I basically learned an entire book. The book was called Attached. I'll try and pop it up. I learned that book comprehensively. I learned about attachment styles. I learned about what I wanted in a future relationship and what I didn't want. I understood everything that I needed to know so that I could improve my next relationships and how I could improve as a person. The thing is, for your life, things like grief and heartbreak and just negative events that are just traumatic are so catalytic for just improving as a person and just developing. Like for example, with me, I came to terms with what happened and I'd leveled up so much. The amount of progress I made in those few months after the breakup was absolutely astonishing. And it isn't just me that's noticed that. Every single other person I've spoken to and had conversations with has also agreed. Like for example, I was walking with this one friend and we were walking back from the gym and we were just having a conversation about how we started and how we started training. And what was always common, it was always after a breakup or some form of girl involved. That's always how every single guy starts. And to me, I found that amusing, but at the same time, it really said something. It showed that things and events that happened basically lead you to improving yourself in dramatic ways. We all started with doing the crunches in our room and doing the push-ups in our room, and then we started off doing like planks and stuff, and I found that all amusing, but it all started from when we were young, and it all started from when we had to prove ourselves. What I want you to do now is reflect on your own life and reflect on what you've learned and what you've grown from and what you've seen, and just think about any big thing that you've achieved, whether that's a goal or an accomplishment. Just think back to when that happened. After you've had that, just think about what growth and what sacrifice was necessary for that. It might have been painful, it might have been hard, it might have been something you really didn't want to do. But just understand that that moment of you having the hardship and you basically going through difficulty and going through it has led to your success now, right? You've gone through so much difficulty, so much hardship, and now you're basically at the end point. And this is the thing, as much as I want to say that life's easy and life's going to be this and that, it's actually the hardest thing that you're going to go through. As a guy, you need to build value. There's no other way. The thing about a young guy that no one else talks about is if you don't build your value, no one will recognize you and no one will know your name. Unlike girls have everything given to them essentially, and they're basically promised money and security as long as they fit a few things. With guys, you need to build yourself from the bottom. If you don't build yourself from the bottom, you're a nobody. No one knows who you are. No one cares about you. You have no benefits in society. You need to realize that to get the rewards that you want and to basically live the life you want, you need to grind, you need to sacrifice, and you need to make extreme trade-offs for that life. You might have to go nights with less sleep. You might have to be waking up earlier than everyone else. You might have to be doing the things that you really don't want to do. Like with me, I remember in year 10 when I was in school, I used to wake up at 6 a.m. every single morning, Monday to Friday. And I used to have a cold shower within like 5 minutes of waking. And that was the most dreaded thing I hated doing. But the amount of discipline, the amount of willpower, and the amount of self-control I built from doing that absolutely forged me. I remember it was winter from September to December, every single day, Monday to Friday, from like year 10 and basically year 11 as well. I used to have a cold shower every single morning. I used to turn the dial to like the coldest setting and just hop in, and I hated doing it. Every single morning I hated doing it, but eventually I overcome it. I got to a point where getting in didn't feel hard, and if anything, it just felt really nice. And I wasn't looking for any benefits as well. Like, I know you can get like some sort of like cold fat, like thermogenesis or whatever you call it, but I wasn't looking for any of that. I literally built discipline and willpower, raw discipline and willpower that actually changed who I am. I didn't want to do it. It was discomforting, but I've grown. As a guy, you have nothing. You have to build yourself up and you have to craft the life that you want. It doesn't matter what goal you have. It doesn't matter where you want to be. You need to understand that discomfort is so much required for growth. You need, if anything, without discomfort, you cannot grow and you cannot get to a position where you can actually be happy with yourself. It doesn't matter what goal you want to achieve. If it's hard and if it's basically a goal that would change your life, it's going to require discomfort. It's going to require things that you don't want to do. I just wanted to make this video because it's a reminder that what you need is discomfort. You need to embrace hardships, embrace discomfort, and just smile through it. Instead of pulling away from it, instead of withdrawing, just smile through the pain and smile through all of the hardships in your life, because you just need to know that it doesn't last forever. It's only temporary, and then at the end you have your win and you have your celebration of what you achieved. Every time I've achieved a goal, every time I've achieved something significant, I've always smiled through the process because I know that each moment is just so memorable. For example, with me, I remember all the times that I used to go to the gym in the rain on like Saturdays and Sundays at like 7 p.m. when no one would be there. It'd be raining outside, the gym would be empty, yet I was there training every single day. And I remember in those moments like year 10, year 11, it crafted me into who I am, and I can remember each small moment of discomfort in those moments, and I can still relate that to where I am now and how much progress and success I've built. Obviously, I'm nowhere near where I want to be and no one's perfect, but I'm still trying. You need to have a goal, a mission, and you need to basically relentlessly go towards it. You need to march towards your goal. And once you do that, you need to understand that this process, this journey is never easy. Getting to your goals, whether that's basically getting a good grade, whether that's making progress in the gym, whether that's completing something difficult, it doesn't matter what it is. You need to understand that this process can be difficult and it will be difficult. You shouldn't expect it to be easy. You shouldn't expect it to be something that you can just walk through. You need to understand this is hard, and you need to basically discipline yourself, grit your teeth, and realize that this is the way forward. If you haven't already, I'd really appreciate if you can like and subscribe, as it really helps you show your support, and it also helps my channel out a lot. You subbing also helps you, because then you get immediate access to any new piece of content I release. I'm aiming to upload really frequently, so if you want more videos like this, just comment down below. Other than that, before I go, there's always one last thing I say. Always strive for excellence, because great things will come your way.